Today, we'd like to demonstrate how to configure a VLAN trunk onto an Antaira switch in order to communicate with a Cisco switch. In this video, we will be using an LMX 0800 and a Cisco Catalyst 3750, but this tutorial will apply to any of our managed switches running firmware version 3X or 6X. First, we will need to identify how the Cisco switch is configured for VLANs. And to do so, we will need to log into the switch by using the console port. Using a terminal emulator like PuTTY or HyperTerminal, logged into the Cisco switch and type show running config. Scroll up and locate what VLANs are set up on the switch. In this case, port 2 is set up with an access port for VLAN 10. Port 3 is set up as an access port for VLAN 20. And port 5 is set up as a trunk port. Now that we know how the VLANs are configured on the Cisco switch, we can go ahead and set up the Antaira switch. Do so by using a web browser. Log into the unit using the default IP address. In this case, it's 192.168.1.254. You'll be prompted for a username and password, which is on the label. Once logged in, the first page you will see is the system information, which will have the serial number, MAC address, time, and software version. To continue with configuring the VLANs, please proceed with the Configuration tab on the left-hand side column. Then the VLANs tab. This will be the page that will allow you to configure your VLANs. To begin, input under Allowed Access VLANs, the VLANs you would like to have configured for communications on this switch. For this example, we will be using VLAN 1, 10, and 20, which was configured on the Cisco switch. Next, we will be setting up port 2 as an access port for VLAN 10, port 3 as an access port for VLAN 20, and port 8 as a trunk port, which will be connecting to the Cisco switch. For port 8 change, the egress tagging and tag all, and for allowed VLAN, we can leave with the default of 1 to 4095. Or you can specify which VLANs you would like to be trunked across this port. In this case, we will leave 1 to 4095 for now and save. First, connect port 8 on your Antaira switch to port 5 on your Cisco switch. Then, plug computer 1 into port 2 on the Antaira switch, and plug your computer 2 into port 2 on the Cisco switch. In our test computer 1, we will have static IP address of 192.168.1.10, and computer 2 will have a static IP address of 192.168.1.1.1. Open a command prompt on computer 1 and type the ping, then the IP address of computer 2. Then press enter. You should receive a ping response from computer 2, since both computers are on VLAN 10. Now plug computer 2 into port 3 on the Cisco switch, and then run the ping command on computer 1. You should not receive a ping response from computer 2, since computer 2 is not on VLAN 20, and computer 1 is still on VLAN 10. That's all for this tutorial. Thank you for purchasing your Antaira Industrial Ethernet switch.